All right, it being 6 o'clock and a quorum present of the Conservation Commission, I'm gonna call the meeting of August 5th, 2025 to order. Present in the room is George, Glenda, Tim, and myself, Melissa. We are being recorded, broadcast on Zoom and for future broadcast and posting on our town's pages, YouTube and public TV. First order of business is accepting of meeting minutes, July 15th. Was there any changes, amendments, etc.? Anyone had?
I make a motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call? Start with you, George.
Farrington, aye.
Williamson, I.
Keenan, aye.
And Danza, aye. Minutes are approved. All right, second order of business, our first public hearing, amendment to order of conditions, Brice Estates, Woodside Ave. I see Clee and Chris, you're here as well for this, I'm assuming.
Yes, I am.
So, do you wanna give us an update? We requested a couple things at the last meeting where we are. Either of you, it doesn't matter who.
You're up, Chris.
All right, so my understanding is you wanted some clarification on the replication areas?
That was part of it, yes.
Okay. So where we're at right now, and this was included in the wetland replication construction report we provided for Brice Lemon, as well as part of the amended order of conditions request. Originally, the replication for crossings number 1 and 2, we had approved 2,418 square feet of replication area. Currently, the actual replication is 1,841 square feet. So there's a little shortfall there of 577 square feet. And that's for two reasons. Primarily, number one, the Sedona crossing, the northeast-southeast portion does not appear to have been constructed. The other part of it is that some of the area, most on the Woodside crossing, number one, there was a little bit of the replication areas required for additional structural stability of the wall. They had to backfill the base of the wall, as I understand it, to ensure stability of the wall long-term. That was a roughly 90 square feet. Now, that being said, the overall project proposed 6,119 square feet of replication. That includes crossing number 3 and an additional replication area of gradient of crossing number 3. Those areas have not been constructed yet. We're hoping to this fall begin that work, pending Mass DEP. The actual replication anticipated for crossing number 3 is around 2,400 square feet. The proposed was around 3,200 square feet. Again, that's shifted due to the requirement for the structural stability of the wall that's being installed. And then the replication area upgrading of that area is proposed still at 512 square feet. So the previous order of conditions approved roughly 6,119 square feet. We currently have proposed, based on what's actually been done and proposed to be done as part of the amendment, will be 4,775 square feet. The actual wetland impacts are slightly less to date than we anticipated. We're at 2,302 square feet of actual wetland impact. Based on that, with the order of conditions, we propose to move forward with the replication as completed and anticipated for crossing 3, primarily because we're still at a 2.1 to 1 ratio, which the state requires 1 to 1. We've doubled that, and we feel it's more than appropriate to do so in this case. We had put extra in there. Which was probably a good thing we did, or we would have a shortfall here, but we're still well above the state requirements. I think 2 to 1 is more than appropriate. And we think this is a reasonable approach for the project. The other aspect, if we do have to go back to the original 6,000 plus square feet, we're going to have to find a new location, and we'll be likely clearing forested area in the buffer zone. I don't recommend it here. If we were below the 1-to-1, I would recommend, we would have to do that. If you wanted 2-to-1, we would, but because we're over the 2-to-1, I don't recommend any more buffer zone alteration to address the replication area, primarily because we don't have a shortfall here. Happy to discuss that in more detail. We've got the numbers presented, and we'll be back out in September to do an inspection of the crossing 1 and 2. See how they've progressed this season. And to my knowledge, that was the only question you had for me. If there are other, I'm happy to address them.
Yeah, so our comments at the last meeting were more so about concerns regarding the decreased amount of replication and the complete failure of one area. Not necessarily questions about the differences. Asked for some alternatives if there were opportunities to go back and rectify the replication area that had failed as one opportunity, and if there were areas that did allow for the makeup of that approved replication rate. Understanding that the minimum is 1-to-1, but what was approved kind of was more than that, and I think we were looking to still request that, especially when the difference in the BBW impact only decreased by about 50 square feet, and that's kind of hundreds of square feet less of replication. Understanding if there's no suitable areas, maybe there's another alternative, but I think at least looking at the areas that failed,
Okay.
that was kind of a condition of both the COC from DEP and our new NOI, looking at those replication areas and the success of those.
So the area that failed, quote unquote, didn't fail. I don't believe it was constructed. There's still some trees in there. I believe it wasn't actually constructed at the time of the crossing. We weren't involved in the oversight at the time, but based on what I've observed there are a couple invasives that need to be treated, but it doesn't appear to have been constructed. Again, that area is stable now. I wouldn't recommend going in and creating replication, just to meet a number. If the commission wants that, clearly we could look at doing it, but it's a fairly steep area in there. Everything's stable now. I think it might be beneficial to avoid it. I don't think it's going to provide a lot of value because you are going to have to take down a few trees in that area that, I think are providing better habitat than you're going to get from creating a wetland in that little area. And it's just under 500 square feet in size. So if that's something the commission feels warranted, Clea, I would say do it. If not, I don't recommend doing it. Regarding the 90 square foot shortfall in the other area, again, Ms. Danza, we can try to find a new location, but this site, we would likely be clearing forested area to create new wetland. And, I don't think it's warranted here because we have such a high level of application proposed, aside from that. And then, again, the shortfall on crossing 3 is going to be around, I think, 700 or 800 square feet, and that's due to the retaining wall. So I guess it's really up to the board if you want this replication or not, and what you want, if you want to impact more buffer zone to do so.
If I could add something, Melissa. In speaking with Chris, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, the area that we say failed or we never actually constructed, it's still wetland now, isn't it? I mean, it was wetland before. You say there's invasives in there.
It was buffer zone before, and it's still buffer zone now.
Buffer zone,
I don't think
okay.
it's functioning as a wetland. No, actually, I don't. It's a small area. I think it's going to be challenging to get in there now that it's completed. I think there could be more impacts to the buffer just to access it now too, because we would have to look at how we're going to get in there with the completed residential lots and get equipment down in there. So I think there'll be temporary impact to the buffer to access it. There'll be impacts to get in there. And then you have to recreate it, monitor it. It's on a slope that's stabilized. There'll be a period of instability where we have to monitor that there's no erosion and things when you have a stable site. I would say if the commission definitively wants that square footage, I would find another location at this time and see if we can make up the deficiency. But again, most of the areas on the site we're going to make up that we have the room are going to require more tree clearing.
Okay. Do you think you could at least look at areas that maybe would be opportune that wouldn't require, if there are, and maybe outline, if there really are no options, then that's something, but at least you've explored it. I think, putting that step forward is probably something.
So this site was a forested site to begin with, so the development right now has, any area we would potentially look to do more mitigation, Melissa, would be along the existing wetland edge, so you would have to, it's forested now, we would have to get in there. And it's tight too, there aren't a lot of good areas because the slopes on this site are challenging. Even crossing 3 is kind of on a hillside, so it's always challenging to make sure the hydrology meets. The replication areas so far that have been completed look pretty good. I think that they look very good. I think we had a couple invasives that needed to be treated, but they were minimal. There was some loose strife, multiflora rose, barberry, and coltsfoot. I believe those were more on the Sedona side. I think there was a little bit one very minor loose strife at crossing 1. I've been on this site a lot. I think we could potentially find an area, but you will definitively be clearing forested buffer zone for it.
Okay. Comments or questions from the commission?
Go ahead, Tim.
I was just gonna ask a quick question, is, so as far as you're concerned, the wetland replication is complete? Or is there gonna be more done in September, is that what you said, when the wall
So-
is done?
As of right now, replication area for crossing number 1 at Woodside and crossing number 2 at Sedona have been completed with a little bit of a shortfall. Crossing number 3 on Woodside, which is that main culvert, which is the subject for the amended order to complete that crossing number 3, the replication area has not started yet. That's the largest replication area we have on the site. That we're hoping to be able to begin that this fall once the culvert installation is complete. That area will need to be obviously soils removed, cleared, new trees,
What was the
shrubs
size of that one?
planted in. Sorry?
What was the size of that one?
The proposed size of it right now is 2,422 square feet, and then a gradient of that up the hill towards, it's near the end of the Wyndham Circle cul-de-sac. It's behind the residence there. There's an old cart path that cuts through the wetland right now. Our proposal is to remove that path and restore the wetland through that area. And that's another 512 square feet. So we're looking at roughly 3,000 square feet between those two areas. Hopefully, assuming we clear the issues that DP has on this, we will begin that work hopefully after Labor Day, I hope.
Thank you.
Glenda, did you have something?
Oh, you've probably already looked at this, but I'll ask anyway. There's no opportunity to increase the existing or proposed replication areas to make up the difference?
We looked at the Woodside Ave, maybe we could grab a few square feet, but again, it's pretty tight through there with the residences. There might be some room, but you're gonna have to take down more trees. If that's what the commission wants, when the time comes, I mean, maybe make a condition, if we can expand it slightly, we can, and we can recalculate it when it's done. But again, it's up to you if you really know by taking trees. There's always that balance when we create replication areas. Do you want to take down mature trees to put a replication area, and that's going to take 20 years to grow to be a forested canopy again? And professionally, in my opinion, on this site, I know there was extra was provided in this case, to address there were a lot of parties, interested people in this project, so there was extra replication was put into this project to, kind of as additional mitigation to move this project forward. I think part of that was to ensure we had at least a 2-to-1 mitigation, which we do, at the end of the day here. So it's really, not to keep going in a circle on it, but it really comes down to, if you want us to look and take down some trees, we could probably take some more down and expand that wetland area by crossing 3. I don't think there's a lot of room, so we're not going to get back what we've lost, but maybe we could expand it a few feet, but I don't think I think you're talking tens of square feet, maybe a couple hundred at most. And I don't think it's worth it for the trees that are down there, because you've got some, pine, hemlock, maple, birch are growing through that area, and they're not 40 or 50-year-old trees, but they're 8, 10, 12, 16-inch trees down there. I can't say which ones will have to come down right now, but you'd be looking at taking some of those down to do this.
Okay. Do you have anything, George?
It's got nothing to do with like, if you can't make up the square footage in the wetlands because you'll be taking down maturing or already forested area, is there room where you could, rather than plant lawn, plant a wildflower meadow? Or something like, I haven't been through the whole place, I'm just throwing it out there.
We've found every place that we could that isn't forested in that wetland crossing 3 area, and Chris can, again, correct me, he's the expert, but I can't see where we could find any more wetland or places to replicate wetland than what it is.
No, I'm not even
He's not-
talking
he's
about,
not
I'm not
talking
talking
about
about replicating wetland. I'm talking about literally just taking wildflower seed, and rather than planting lawn, planting wildflowers and let wildflowers grow. Because that will bring in more habitat and provide more habitat for more native fauna, which, though it won't be wetland, it will make up a habitat loss, so to speak.
Maybe I'd have Chris answer that, but
Yeah, so what he's asking is, he's not specifically asking for replication, but for the deficiency in the replication, could you find an area, correct me if I'm misspeaking, sir, find an area that's equivalent to that, and instead of doing replication, just seed it with the pollinator seed mix or something, or wildflower mix that would bring in some insects and things. Clea, the shortfall is about 1,350 square feet. I would think we could probably find that somewhere, maybe adjacent to a basin or maybe near a house. You think we could make that work? I think we could.
yeah, we could plant it almost on the inside of one of that big basin there.
Those would
So-
look beautiful, rather than just hydro seeding it. If you plant those basins with wildflowers, you guys want it, nobody will have to worry about mowing. You'll bring in all sorts of natural stuff to the neighborhood, and it'll be more beneficial because it's gonna cleanse the water and it's gonna help the erosion.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, Clea, I'd want to run that by Julian.
I don't know if that's a,
Yeah, no, that's,
If you could condition it in that respect, we'll do that.
I'm here, by the way.
Oh, Julian,
So, Julian, do you see any issue with the basin maintenance with doing wildflower?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
That could definitely be done.
Okay.
I know one thing that we talked about last time, just in terms of before we approve this amendment, we'd need confirmation from DEP and DCR that they're okay with the plan. So I don't think you'd be getting an approval tonight either way if we were to condition something like that. And I think we'd wanna see a plan that shows some areas before anyways. I don't know if others agree with that or not. You know, I think DEP and DCR still had some concerns, so I wanna make sure that those are addressed.
if they haven't told us what they are.
I'm not sure what they are either.
There's no technical deficiencies anywhere from what we
No,
submitted.
yeah. Melissa, here's a quick update. We reached out to DCR. Alan Rentala emailed me back this week saying they're due to vacation schedules, they're a little backlogged on it, but they're hoping to have a review completed in 2 weeks, possibly 3.
Okay,
I think I don't foresee any issues with them. Obviously, I can't speak for them, but I anticipate getting a permit because the DCR had previously approved an 18-foot box culvert, and now we have an arch culvert. So the changes aren't that significant, and the impacts are pretty similar. So it wasn't as big a change from the 14-foot that DEP and Concom
Yeah.
had approved. So
it's just, it's been conveyed to us that we will wanna make sure we're all on the same plan.
right.
You know, so if
And-
things get changed, we don't wanna keep doing this over and over again, so it was pretty clear, at least to me, that they wanted to make sure that everything was okay on their end before we issued our decision.
Okay, we get into a chicken and the egg. Who's going to close first?
Yep.
You know, everybody's like,
Well,
DEP's waiting for you. You're waiting for them. DCR's waiting.
I sent an
We kinda
email
get
to
stuck.
DEP and DCR outlining that we were waiting for their approval, so they should know. And if they don't, I'm happy to send it again. You know, Becky asked for a quick update, I think 2 weeks ago between our last meeting, so they were still reviewing it, I think, too. So she just wanted to make sure that we hadn't made any decisions, so it sounds like, I don't know if they're gonna provide comments as well, but, cause she wanted to make sure we were all on the same page, so. Just to kind of reiterate that.
The, we will be meeting with DEP, later this week, so we would like to be able to summarize the meeting. So from what I'm hearing tonight, it sounds like the board would be amenable to closing and approving the amended order with a revised, maybe even a graphic showing the areas for the wildflower mix. Is that correct?
Yeah, with appropriate mitigation that makes up the difference,
Okay,
whether it be replication or, native pollinator areas. You know, and put a seed mix together, kind of an updated O&M, that kind of thing.
okay. All right, so we would revise a plan showing the areas with the square footage. We can provide a seed mix and an updated O&M plan. Is there anything else you'd want to see with that? So make sure we have everything.
Was there anything else from last time? I'm trying to remember.
Think so. My only concern is when they go to do the maintenance on the basins,
Yeah. Making sure it doesn't get mowed down and
making
destroyed.
sure that that won't be a conflict with the maintenance of the stormwater structures. But if it's not woody, like, he's not planting shrubs or trees,
Yeah,
so
no.
like, woody wouldn't really be an issue with a pollinator mix.
No.
So maybe they wouldn't even have to mow.
No, it would
Slopes.
all just go to seed and then.
Yeah, and Julian,
When
what's
to
the
fall
maintenance
down.
schedule for the basins right now for mowing?
Typically, when brush starts growing, they want it to be mowed down. So this would not have any issue whatsoever, because the wildflowers are gonna keep the big brushy plants from coming in anyways. So once in a while, you'll get a maple tree or a brushy type bush growing that can be cut.
Right,
So
okay,
this should be a good idea, and it would really eliminate a lot of maintenance because it would stay as wildflowers. A perfect example of this is on Jimmy Soucy's project in the center of town. The whole back banking is all wildflowers. He did like 5 years ago, and it's just all wildflowers.
okay.
And that was just from his own not wanting to maintain the slopes. So, and it's working real nice.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
Okay.
Is there anyone, this is a public hearing, so is there anyone else from the public that wants to speak on this one? Brice? Not seeing anything else from commission members, just to double check. Alright, so we will continue, we meet in 2 weeks on the 19th. Is there a motion to continue the amended order of conditions requests?
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor by roll call?
Farrington, aye?
Williamson, I.
Keenan, I.
Dan said aye. Alright, we are continued.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
the
you,
time.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
And then COC request 6 and 8 Woodside. I don't think we got any as-bills.
Julian, you're up. Still there?
I am here,
These
and I dropped the ball. I don't have an as-built for those. We do have the as-built that we used for the detention pond down below there. And it slipped my mind, and I apologize, and I'll get it to you for the next meeting.
Alright, that's easy enough.
Because the barrier between the detention pond, I mean, the back of the houses is that big detention pond. So
Okay,
there should be no issues, but I'll get a drawing that shows the houses and the slope behind the houses. Because right now I only have the detention pond.
okay. Yeah, just make sure it has existing, proposed versus existing and all of the as-built
Okay.
conditions.
Yep,
Alright. we'll
okay,
do that next
we
time.
can do that.
Thank you.
Bye.
Alright, next is old and new business erosion concerns, Arrowhead Way, Pommogussett Road, and Brintnal Drive. I think Kevin is here, who is our peer reviewing engineer technically for planning board. Clea, did you ever send over, I didn't see them, the plans that were approved in the stormwater report?
I didn't know, I asked for an email to tell me what you guys wanted.
Okay,
I didn't see it, so I thought where you said Kevin was coming, I didn't know if you wanted them still. I can send them, but if you could just send me an email for what you want, I would be
okay,
more than happy to get them right back to you.
I will do that tonight. Where do we wanna start?
To hear from,
Kevin, would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, sure,
Absolutely,
yep.
thank you.
Okay, in June, I walked 140 Pommogussett with the chairman of the planning board, Norm Anderson. What I saw was these lots, all those lots along Pommogussett were cut into the hill. And the back of the cut slope, if you will, at the rear of those lots is very steep. And there was evidence that water had come in the rear and gone down that slope and eroded. And there was deposits of sediment around on the site, various areas. Walking along Pommogussett, there were other lots along there that also looked like they had seen incoming water flowing into that. There was question raised whether whether Arrowhead Way was the source of this runoff. It is not. I'd be happy to show you the plans, but unmistakably, Arrowhead Way, and when I say Arrowhead Way, I'm talking about the street, all right? Now, there are lots around that subdivision road. Those lots are constructed, and the zoning bylaw does not require or permit the planning board to review lot construction. This is something that's been very distressing to the neighbors, and by the way, leave no room for doubt, those neighbors on Pommogussett are suffering, they're suffering damage. There's water coming onto their property, and there's a lot of water and a lot of sediment. So there's an issue there, and I don't mean to diminish or belittle that claim. But the planning board doesn't have the authority to review lots that are built around Arrowhead Way or any lot in town. A person can take out a building permit application and they get a building permit and the planning board never sees the plan. So the opportunity to look at these lots and understand what's going on was never available, either the lots on Pommogussett or the lots on Arrowhead Way. But the construction of Arrowhead Way is very important. The Arrowhead Way is a loop road that goes around, and basically this is Bear Hill. Arrowhead Way circles around Bear Hill. And in Arrowhead Way, it's a closed drainage system, so there are catch basins, and there's a berm. And the runoff in the road is contained to the road. But key to that is that there's a culvert, a drainage culvert, that follows Arrowhead all the way around to Cleveland Drive, over to Grizzly and down to what they call the Molten Pond Dissipator. So all the runoff collected to Arrowhead Way is discharged about 1,000 feet east of these homes on Pommogussett. So, and that means that all of the upper portions of Bear Hill that drain down onto Arrowhead is also collected in that drainage system and sent far away. So the likelihood that Arrowhead is a source of runoff to these lots is pretty low. There was concern that I had that there's 3 houses in particular that the homes are lower, the home sites are lower than the street. And when you cut a driveway in, it's possible that the gutter flow will simply enter the driveway, and that these lots could have had water flowing through toward Pommogussett by their driveways. On inspection, what we saw was they did put in what we call an apron. We have them pave an apron, which is basically intended to create enough of a grade that it keeps the gutter flow in the gutter. Cars have to drive, you have to moderate it so that cars can drive over, not drag their tailpipe, but get into the driveway, but keep the runoff in the street. In spite of that, I asked Cleese people to beef up those aprons, make them a little bit bigger so that we can be sure that no or minimal runoff can ever get over there. there's probably a storm out there, when water will get over those things, but it'll be a pretty good sized storm. So what I'm telling the Conservation Commission is, there's the concerns that Arrowhead Way is creating or is the problem, not likely, okay? I think that the ground between the lots on Arrowhead and Pommogussett is really, really steep. So if rain falls, that ground is not gonna absorb much water at all. Most of that water is gonna run off, and there are times of the year when it will be a lot of runoff, because either frost in the ground or saturated ground, any rain that falls will run right down towards these lots. I know conservation has a concern over sedimentation in a resource area, and I really can't
That's fine.
tell you
Yeah.
much about that, except that there's certainly a source of sediment to the area from these lots that I've been witness to.
Yeah, and I think, one of our concerns that is kind of going against what you're seeing is we had one homeowner on Arrowhead that said water was still going down their driveway and back down their lot, and they were losing the back of their lot. So I guess that's kind of where we're at a disconnect, I guess, or confused of.
Well, the thing about an apron, a driveway apron, is it's a little bit subjective. You have to eyeball it, and you have to guesstimate how much water is going to flow in the street gutter, and do we have enough there? There's no mathematical formula. You don't go out with a measuring, with a ruler and measure it. You just have to kind of put in what you think is significant or substantial apron. One of the complaints we get with aprons, homeowners call up, they're upset because the aprons are difficult for them to drive over, and they're afraid they're gonna drag their undercarriage of their car over. If we make it too big, we get complaints about that. So I think if there is concern about water, and I've seen tons of videos from neighbors and from board members, and there is, I think during major storm events, there may be water that gets over there. But the key to that is that the majority of the water is contained in the drainage system. If a little bit of water goes over the top of that apron, I don't really think that'd be the source of a problem. It may be some water getting over there, but the majority of the water in Arrowhead Lane is going into the drainage system and going away. And if there's need to update the aprons, I think this gentleman here will see to it that it's taken care of.
We already did it once.
Yeah.
Kevin asked us to do it, we did it within a few days.
Yes.
So, I think this was even before the aprons were put in, but the folks that were here that lived on Arrowhead, they bought their home in October of 2023. And they've lost 5 to 7 feet of their backyard. Feet. They have little kids. Now, that's not from 1 or 2 major storm events. That's not from, a little bit of snow, a little bit of frost. That's a lot of water pouring through those people's yard. A lot of water. And they've spent 10 grand of their own money now removing trees and trying to build a retaining wall to save their backyard. So I am going to politely disagree with what you said, because you're not gonna lose feet
If
of a
I may though,
yard.
that's a fair point. And can't claim to have all the answers, but I will tell you this. The construction of those lots on Pommogussett is key to the problem they're having. Those lots, here's what it is. There's a significant area there that always was what we call tributary area. There would always be water coming to these lots. The rear of those lots needs to have been constructed so as to manage and control runoff coming into those lots at the outset. They need to be talking to him. And frankly, like I say, I think the managing that runoff is something, I understand that they've done something with a swale behind those lots. But I still see water coming down into 140 Pommogussett by the gallon.
Right, but if it was before the road was cleared, the road would have been forested and everything would have been draining naturally because the natural systems would have been taking care of things.
Yes, they'd be receiving water.
Would
And there's
there have
evidence,
been,
there's evidence.
would there have been some water coming down?
A lot.
Pommogussett? Oh, yeah, some.
A lot.
No, there wouldn't be a lot.
Actually, there's pretty good evidence there was. There's a driveway up there on Bear Hill that has been washed out more than once. I know of a planning board member declined to buy property there because he was concerned that that driveway on Bear Hill was washing out. It is a very steep slope, and that steepness of that slope gives me cause for concern for these neighbors. But I think the issue is the water, there's, you building those lots, a builder must anticipate that water is gonna come into these lots, and those lots need to be constructed so as to manage that runoff.
Can I say something? So behind all those lots, yes, we cut them in and they were cut in deep. Behind all those lots, there's a swale at the top of that hill. And up until this one rainstorm, you're talking about an event, Kevin, that was probably a 200-year storm, maybe even more. My brother Billy's lived in his house for 17 years. His driveway washed out because the water came out of the detention pond from Eastern Ave, I think that's what's above it, blew over the top of it and just ruined his driveway. The amount of rain that happened that day is what caused this. Before that happened, I think the gentleman will tell you, he had no problem until we started constructing the houses up above. Now, we were constructing a house above, and the water was coming down, and it wrecked his banking. I went back and I fixed it. I stopped the water from coming down. This was a single event that caused the issue. There's an extensive drainage system up top, and that one house is having an issue, but are the people here that lost the 5 feet in their yard? Yeah, so they had fixed it, but I can't recall how they left it. But their house isn't anywhere near where these people had the erosion. Their house is way down around the corner, and there's where there used to be a driveway. Remember Helly's driveway that came up? Where that driveway was, that's where I'm pretty sure their house is. So their water was going the other way. We filled that in, so we've pretty much stopped that from happening. But we're talking about one event that was an act of God that caused this. And it's not just there. I mean, the roads were washed out. I had 2 feet of dirt in some roads I had to clean up. It was an event that caused this. It was not poor construction. I mean, Kevin can tell you, I've built miles and miles and miles of roads over the last 40 years. We don't have these kind of problems. The drainages, the stormwater reports are literally 3 inches thick. They take into account where the water used to go, how you slow it down, where you move it to, how you control all the impervious or contain all the water that's on the impervious surfaces. All the rooftops are taken into consideration. It's a tremendous amount of engineering that goes into it. It's not coming from Arrowhead Way. You hear that from the engineer. It's not coming from there. He and Kevin, I think, was correct. Some of the water came down because there was such an exorbitant amount of water. It went down the driveways, and it probably went down at a bigger rate of speed over that hill. But there's this huge hill behind there, and for the most part, we've contained it. It was an event that caused this, and period. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I said it 1,000 times the last time we were here. Everybody focused on the road the last time because that's really the only thing that I still own. It's not the road that caused it. It was one main rain event that caused it. You know how many people that I built houses
just
for in
because it's
slopes?
a rain event doesn't mean it gives you reprieve from making sure your sites are secure, though.
They are secure, Melissa. There's nothing that have happened before that. Nothing. I mean, I told you, I caused one issue and I fixed it. And after that, it's this one event. I mean, it was, I'm not kidding you. Shannock Hill Road, I mean, it was all washed in over there. I had at least a foot of dirt in some of my roads that I was building. It was extensive. When you have a slope like that, and the rain that came in that short amount of time, it caused these things to happen. It's an act of God, and everybody wants. I mean, if it was the tornado, I said this the last time. Is it my fault because I built your house and there was a tornado? No, I mean, and this is the same thing. It's not a tornado, but it was a hell of a rain event. It's more than I've ever seen in my lifetime.
No. And so that doesn't exempt you from enforcement though. You know, unless DEP were to issue a, like basically a free-for-all, which they've done for, you know, some acts of God, this doesn't qualify.
Well, then if you want to put an enforcement order, find a way to do it. I don't own the land that touches any of that. Nothing connects to me, and you know the road was built right, you just heard him say it. It's going in the drainage system, it's going out the other way, it's pulling it away from it. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault that it rained that hard.
Do you have as-built on the road that confirm that it's per plan?
We do, it is. I would note one thing, there's a giant dividing line between Arrowhead Way and the lots surrounding Arrowhead Way. The lots in question, there's 3 lots in particular that are downhill from Arrowhead Way and are directly upgrading from the lots on Pommogussett where they're having water problems. The possibility that those lots have got, the driveway slopes straight down. The houses, the roof water goes out. I can't tell you, we don't evaluate, I haven't evaluated these lots, but they certainly contribute runoff toward these homes on Pommogussett. And as I said, the slope between these lots on Arrowhead and the lots on Pommogussett is extremely steep. So any water that leaves these lots is gonna end up going straight down that slope and straight to these homes on Pommogussett. I'm aware that Blair Development has put some kind of a swale above those houses to divert that runoff away. I have not been looked at it and have not been asked to take a look at it and give an opinion whether it seems significant or not. You would need to put in a substantial swale to reliably intercept, you know, significant flows.
Yes.
Just
make sure you introduce yourself.
Dan Rosario, 140 Pommogussett Road. I know Mr. Blair said that the engineers said that it's not coming from Arrowhead Way. Mr. Quinn just said that again. No, and I want to read something. During significant storms, gutter flow from the road can become enormous. Driveways constructed so as to admit flow from the gutter can receive enormous stormwater flows. Based on this preliminary review, it is considered likely that the flow of stormwater into the driveway at homes at Arrowhead Way contributes substantially to the observed inflow of stormwater at 140 Pommogussett Road and other neighboring properties. It remains likely that the property at 140 Pommogussett Road to continue to receive surface water from other sources as well. Mr. Quinn authored that. So he's literally saying it's not the road, but his preliminary report said it was the road. That stormwater continued to come down even after the swale with the 2-foot holes in it, was put in. The water continues to come down even today. Even mild rain contributes to the way. It's certainly not the way it did in May 9th. There's a resident at 5 Arrowhead Way who said she does not allow her children to play in the backyard because every time it rains, the water comes over the driveway and washes the yard away. The residents at 11, same thing. The water comes down Arrowhead Way right over their driveway. The planning board observed it. Multiple neighbors have taken video and photos of it. It is quite unbelievable to hear that it's not happening and that it's been fixed. Absolutely nothing has been fixed. And the neighbors continue to suffer from the damage. The water continues to come over the hill, certainly not in volumes the way it did on May 9th. But to hear that everything is fixed and done right is outrageous. And I say this, if you're driving a vehicle and your brakes are faulty and you crash into someone, just because you fix your brakes doesn't make you not liable for the damage you caused someone else. So even if the berm was made to be 12 feet tall instead of an additional 2 inches, the damage was still done. And I think Mr. Blair, if he's a developer and he cares about his reputation with the people he builds houses for, it wouldn't take a significant effort to at least reach out to the neighbors and make an effort to fix it.
I apologize, Melissa, I told you I had to leave at 1:15.
Yep.
I've gotta leave.
I understand.
Thank you.
Okay.
What changed between your comments and then?
Was that the aprons?
We requested them to improve the aprons, which they did do immediately.
And the water continues to flow over the apron.
Could be, yeah.
They're not high enough.
But the aprons weren't put in until just like after May 9th.
No, actually, there were aprons in, they just weren't significant enough, and we asked Blair to go back and improve them, and they did. They did.
Do you feel like that's the limit of what can be done?
No, I think, I mean, if they can again raise the aprons a little higher. I don't think that's the source of the problem. I think it may be contributing, but certainly it's not the source of the problem. You know, Mr. Rosario's told me, and he just stated now, that runoff comes to his property like for hours after a storm. Paved surfaces, they race to flow to high flows, and they dry out immediately. 20 minutes after a storm, a street is usually pretty dry. He gets flow for hours, so it's suggesting to me that you've got sources of water that are different than just Arrowhead Way.
On May 9th, that storm, the water at first was significant. It washed almost 2.5 feet of soil down to the back of my shed, and the water continued to flow for many, many hours afterwards. This was not uncommon. It wasn't just my side, it was everybody's side. The water continued for hours and hours and hours. Certainly not in volumes of the first hour or two, but you know, to see the water coming over the hill in 3 or 4 significant spots, there's no underground water system that's bubbling over in a manhole. This is definitely coming from the top of the hill.
I agree with your statement about water running down pavement, goes fast, dries quick. Problem is, that water that goes into the ground, it then gets absorbed in the ground and it doesn't run quick. And that's what causes a 10-hour waterfall in Mr. Rosario's backyard. Because all of that water, the ground can't hold it anymore and it just releases it.
Well,
So
I guess,
that's-
if I may, what I've stated for the planning board, I don't know if this is even necessarily purview of conservation, but managing the runoff coming to the lots on Pommogussett is a builder's responsibility. And we've emphasized before, and I still haven't seen evidence that runoff is being controlled. Whatever the source is above it, you have to have control and appropriately armoring slopes. Those are very, very steep slopes. That water goes over those cut slopes. It's gonna flow, it reaches erosive velocity, we call it, very quickly. And it'll erode, eat up the grass, the loam, and cause the damage that Mr. Rosario has lived with.
Yeah.
But my issue is that on behalf of the planning board, I'm a representative of the planning board. The planning board doesn't have a leverage, they don't have the authority to intervene and issue a judgment. But I think the builder has a responsibility to his buyer to ensure that these lots were built so as to manage anything that could be anticipated. Runoff entering those sites has to be anticipated, and the lot should be built to manage that.
Yeah, and please correct me if I'm misinterpreting what you're saying, but I think what you're getting to is that, and just to clarify for everyone else, when you say the water is not coming from Arrowhead Way, you are specifically, or the cause, the root cause of it, you're talking about Arrowhead Way, the roadway.
Correct.
Not necessarily the other
The lots,
development
that's correct.
along
And
Arrowhead
those,
Way.
that's important because you could be getting significant water from those lots, particularly in the low side of Arrowhead.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, I just wanna make that, cause I think you're saying the same thing.
Yeah. I
It's,
was talking about the road
yeah,
itself.
I know that too, but I think part of it, I think Kevin is also agreeing it's,
Yeah.
it's not just,
I've heard the statement that the planning board doesn't have the authority. Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81 GG gives them the authority to do exactly what they've been saying they can't do. That law's been in effect for quite a while.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It used to be 81K, it just got upgraded to GG, 81 GG. And that law gives them the authority to do exactly what we've been asking, they just won't do it.
Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Rosario, because honestly, I was very curious as to why they don't have the authority to look at stuff like that.
They might be the only planning board in the entire state that doesn't have.
If I may, the zoning bylaw, in many communities, zoning bylaws require site plan review as a requirement to obtain a building permit, okay? The town doesn't. You can build in this town, and lots of towns in this area don't. You can build in Rutland, you can apply for a building permit, and you can get that building permit, and the planning board, the plan never goes in front of the planning board. Further, the planning board doesn't have authority to go to the building inspector and say, the occupancy of these lots is not, that would be the ultimate leverage, would be occupancy. They don't have any leverage to go to the building inspector and say, you can't, absent the law which Mr. Rosario said, I'm not a lawyer. If there's a law in Mass General Law that says that they have some unknown responsibility, that would be terrific. But in the meantime, the zoning bylaw doesn't give them either the responsibility or the ability to intervene and say, you know, let's go to the building inspector and get Tim to get involved. They don't have that. It's not in the zoning bylaw.
It just doesn't make sense that the planning board can't look at the plans. That just sounds idiotic to me.
So when they look at like the grading plan for the subdivision, that doesn't come into effect when they're talking about stormwater management?
It does and it doesn't. It does from the standpoint that an engineer has to anticipate in the design of a drainage system, runoff that would come to a street from above. But in this case, our concern is the runoff
To a
below,
property,
going
okay.
down below.
Okay. Yes.
If I may, through the chair, if I'm saying this correctly, Mr. Quinn, you said that
Can you
the,
just introduce yourself real quick?
sure,
Sorry.
Amanda Ando, 2 Brintnal Drive.
you.
Mr. Quinn, just to clarify, you said that the water from Arrowhead Way, the road, is being diverted towards Molten Hill, correct?
It is being, yeah, the drainage system in Arrowhead Way goes into a culvert which drains all the way around Arrowhead Way into Cleveland and then down Grizzly to what's called the Molten Pond Dissipator.
So it's not the, I have video, from this last Thursday from Arrowhead Way that shows that the water is flowing towards down Brintnal, towards, the other way, but it goes into drains. So are those drains that collect that
The
water?
catch basins, yep,
Yes.
the catch
So that's
basins,
what's happening.
yes, the catch basins
Thank
go
you.
into a culvert, and that culvert goes all the way around to, as I say, to Cleveland, and then down Grizzly to what's called the Molten Pond Dissipator. So all the drainage that's collected into that drainage system goes about 1,000 feet east of these areas, certainly the homes on Pommogussett.
Has anyone been able to find the stormwater management approval that DCR, it went up to DCR, do we have that anywhere? When I was at the planning board last week, the week before the last planning board meeting, they did not have it, and they requested records from the state, and the state said that they did not have them either. So I'm wondering if you guys have it, or maybe Mr. Quinn has that?
I don't have that, no.
So that's what we were asking Clea about earlier, if he had sent over.
Okay.
So I have it, I've kind of intermittently been drafting this, asking for that stormwater report, including the watershed maps and
Thank you.
so, if we do get it, Tamika, will you just forward it off to the chain that sent us the photos?
Yes.
Does that make easiest sense? Well, that will get distributed that way. So I think that will help us lead in our next determination as well.
Did anybody see anything Thursday night into Friday morning? That went last week when we had that
Rain.
event,
A lot of rain.
a lot of rain then, was there
Yep.
anything noticed or?
I was getting the same trickle over the hill in the same spots, the same erosion. Certainly not, again, not in volumes like on May 9th.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I'm finding soot and soil in my driveway every time it rains now.
So is Thursday the day it was raining heavy?
Thursday night
So
to Friday morning.
Jared
I
and
have a rain gauge, I get 3.5 inches of rain in 24 hours. That's a lot of runoff, that's a lot of rain.
Jared and I made it there like right after the heavy had stopped at like 5, cause we were both on our way home from work. We passed each other in the night, you know? And the road looked dry. There were a couple areas that had like puddles and low spots
up
of the
on top?
road. This is up on top on Arrowhead. You know, there are definitely paths that you could see water had gone down the slope, not necessarily stemming from the roadway, but maybe the individual lots themselves. There are a couple driveways that did have, you know, what looked like fresher sediment, like that sand, you know, that has new construction. Whether it was from this rainstorm or just one previously, I'm not sure, I didn't see that, but it was clear that it seemed like at some point water has still flowing down those driveways. Whether it is new or not, I didn't see it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think it is, you know, for these less intense, this wasn't less intense, but you know, it is definitely the grading in the back. I think it might slightly improve with the grass that's finally growing in certain areas now that there's actual lawn. It'll slow it down at least. But
Yeah, soil was all loose
yeah,
back there when we left it out.
yeah, it's definitely a lot more grown in than when we saw it a couple weeks ago. Not everywhere, but at least in a larger area. Alright, so we'll ask for those. Is it something that we want to talk to town council about in terms of our enforcement capability? We'd have to use WPA funds, but we do have money.
I'd like to know, maybe he's more up on the general law.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely something missing
yeah,
with this whole thing, and this is just shining a light on it. Somebody should be, whether it's in the original design, not taking into account what's happening down below.
Yeah.
Or whether it's all the way to the other end to the building inspector, not issuing the occupancy permit. Someone's gotta catch that in the.
yeah. I think planning was gonna ask some questions, so maybe I'll follow up with Delia on the status of that, our interim town planner. And if the commission is comfortable utilizing some WPA fees, maybe based on the answers we get from that, kind of build on what jurisdiction we might have based on the selling of lots and ownership, etc. Cause I think there is a 3-year timeline in which if the violation occurs 3 years past the sell date, but I'm not quite sure on the applicability if it's the violation had to been known before the sell or after.
I think it's worth it, I think it should be pursued with legal.
Yes,
That's
I
my
do.
Okay.
It's pretty serious.
Right. Good, not good?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Should we do official motion? Yeah. Alright, is there a motion to use WPA funds to talk to town council about,
I'll make a motion.
is there a second? All those in favor by roll call?
Farrington, aye.
Williamson, I.
Keenan and I.
Dan's aye. Alright, so we'll do that. Is there anything else from the public who wishes to speak on this? Otherwise, when we get these plans, we'll send them to one of the chains we've received, so you can disseminate as you need to. But as always, feel free to reach out to Tamika if you ever have questions or anything. Kevin, thank you for coming. Is there any other questions you guys have for?
So Kevin, in your opinion, the remediation work they did at the driveway aprons? that
Well, I'm
is
hearing
good?
that
You're
there've been
good with that?
rains, I'm hearing that there's rains that have gotten over those aprons. I gotta tell you, we look at a lot of aprons, we do a lot of work. It's surprising that it gets over it, but if that's happening, I mean, that's one remedy is make the aprons bigger.
Yeah, we're looking for suggestions too, I mean, anything,
Well, like I said, I mean, my opinion stands that, I'm not a judge or a lawyer, but my comment is that the builder has a responsibility to build these lots for these folks in a way that anticipates reasonable conditions, including runoff coming into the site. The back slopes of those lots is very steep, and it will not withstand even minor runoff, because it's very steep. And like I said, I understand that Blair Development put in some sort of a swale behind those homes. I've not been requested to go look at it or give an opinion on that. That thing would need to be substantial to intercept the kind of water that these folks are having coming into their lots.
As far as you're
What the
concerned.
swale actually looks like is just, it's maybe 50 feet of stones thrown into the hill. There's only one rack. There are literally some sections where there's 2 feet of space between the rocks. It's certainly not catching anything, and it's not directing any water anywhere else. And unfortunately, the swale ends right where the main problem comes down at my house. I've walked that space several times during the rain. It's coming over the driveways and over the hill onto my land. No one else has done it, but I have, and I've had video and I've shared it.
Okay. All right, I think we'll see where the next step takes us. Hopefully Clea gets us those plans, and yes.
May I ask if Clea does not produce those plans? Is there any recourse for that?
I think we can still move forward in the path that we're moving in terms of talking to council. And if we get the guidance where, they're more informational, I think, for us than anything, just to look at what was approved versus what's there. And then, yeah, I don't think they'd necessarily have it would kill our ability to do anything, if that's what you're asking.
Thank you.
It's more of our feedback from town council. All right. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're always here if you need us, reach out to Tamika. And I'll be there. All right. Next item, tree clearing concerns, Finn Park Road. Got an email from Tamika. Did anyone make it out to, I didn't make it out to Finn Park. That was horrible.
I was on vacation.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's fine, excuse me.
Finn Park Road, the, tree,
Yeah, this is a new item, Tim.
Fine, thank you.
I think, was this just an email you sent us?
So a copy of the letter is on the SharePoint. We actually received an anonymous letter from a resident expressing their concern with some trees that had been cleared recently that were not believed to have been hazardous or in need of being taken down, and indicated that they had not been stumped, so you would be able to see the trees that had been removed, but it was believed to have been within the buffer zone because of the close proximity to Demon Pond.
Okay.
Do we have I haven't seen that letter. Can we pull that up, Melissa?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, ma'am. Well, let me find my screen.
With the Concom, no.
From the area of 4038 Finn Park Road on Demon Pond. This was an area that was full of trees and the people from 40 were taking them down. The area is very bare now. I understand that the people from 38 were taking pictures and were upset, so I am assuming it was their property. I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the commission, and I believe it is Wetland's property. Okay.
I love that it's old school and it's actually a letter.
Legit letter.
Alright.
My son would go, I can't read that, because he can't read cursive.
I know, neither can my kids.
Impact. So this is 40. And this is 38. I mean, if it's by Demon Pond, then I would say, yeah, that's pretty close. Okay. I can take us, or, you know, anyone can, obviously. Let's take a swing by, and maybe just in the meantime, should we ask both to come to the next meeting? Just 40, just 38?
Well, the letter didn't really say what side of the houses the trees were taken from.
Well, it sounds like it's probably, oh, lordy. Lord.
Look, I mean, I feel like if we drive out there, we won't necessarily see stumps. If we don't have permission to go on
If it's that far down.
the lots.
It looks like it's 38 where all the trees are.
I would, yeah, so it sounds
40
like
was pretty
maybe
small.
40 did the cutting on 38, possibly.
Yeah, we're not sure
Yeah,
what happened really, but
yeah. So we could send it to both and
I don't
ask.
mind swinging by and just see what I can see from the road.
Okay,
Same.
But I
So let's
would
do that.
guess it's 38 that
Yeah.
owns most of those trees.
Yeah.
They would be the ones to talk to.
alright. So do we wanna take a swing by just in case first and then we'll send the letter out?
I will.
Okay,
So I'll do a letter after I hear from you guys.
yes, please.
Okay, but before the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, on to more fun business. We got a letter of interest. Are you Mary?
I'm Mary.
Hi Mary, welcome to a
Mary.
fun meeting. We're usually much more entertaining than this. This was a very serious one thus far. Last time we talked about George's shiny turkey breast
I
hat.
was just gonna say,
It's not looking bad tonight.
it's up there tonight.
Yeah, it looks good.
Randy obviously doesn't watch our meetings because I haven't gotten a phone call for an advertisement.
We'll text him after this.
Well, welcome. Do you know anything about Concom's?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So, we are at full capacity, we're a 7-member board. We have 6 people right now, so we have 1 vacancy. We are kind of a permitting board. I hate to say first, but that's kind of what takes the cake most of the time. So we review and approve, or deny permits and applications within 100 feet of wetlands or 200 feet from perennial streams that run all year round, or rivers. We have some open space property that we haven't done anything with yet. I don't know, what else do we do?
We're gonna start doing all sorts of fun stuff with the public. We did,
Yes.
Brian ran Big Night where everybody
Yeah,
was out
that's where I
looking
met
for
Brian. That's why I'm here.
salamanders, yeah.
The fun side of things
Yes.
is the open space side of
We're
things.
gonna talk about it a little later in the meeting about helping the Hope Garden behind us and
Yeah.
and doing things with plants and all that stuff, so.
Okay.
There's the serious stuff
Yeah.
that we have to deal with, obviously, but
Yeah.
then we're also trying to make it more accessible to the public, so people just don't think we're another pain in the ass commission
Yeah.
that they have to go through.
We are, but
Well, yeah.
with a
we are.
flair.
Also,
With a flair.
Right.
We're not lame. you
We're
know?
not lame, no, that cannot be said about us.
We have that going for us.
Yeah, we have that going for us, we're superheroes.
would I be able to go, like, you had mentioned driving by, like, Damon Pond or whatever? Would I be able to go on something like that with you guys and just, or shadow someone and just see what you guys do when you walk a property or you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That might bring me to my Post-it note, actually, cause that might be a good one. So we got a COC request for 146 Wachusett. So we might wanna set up a site visit.
Is that what you said, road?
Yes. No, I'm sorry, regular old Wachusett Street.
Wachusett Street.
Yeah.
We have one that's kind of in the works, that's still going, I don't think anyone ever got to Wachusett Road.
No, this one is like right near the intersection of
that's
60
my look.
and
No,
Wachusett
that's-
Road.
no.
It's a new construction build and they're just looking for a COC. So I thought maybe this time while you guys were here, we could schedule the site visit between now and then. And then I think Julian's still on, he was the one that submitted the request, and then we can put it on the next agenda.
Yeah.
If you guys are okay with that.
Did we get an as-built?
We did.
Yay.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, if you would love to, we'd love to take you on. Take you on.
Yeah. I'd love to see that side of it.
Holy mollies. Yeah, so I guess that's the other flip side. So when we get an application, we look at it from beginning to end, so before they do construction, during and after. You know, we've been trying to be more wildlife habitat friendly. We got our bylaw passed at town meeting this past spring. So we are in the process of drafting regulations so that when the Attorney General approves it, we'll be ready to start issuing permits under our local bylaw, which will give us a little bit more teeth and broader horizons for that kind of thing. So we usually do site visits as a committee on Saturday mornings. I don't know what your weekends look like. What does everyone else's look like?
Weekends become hard for me through the summer, but
Yeah.
weeknights,
Or we could do a
I
weeknight.
can do a lot easier, but I don't wanna hold it in
No, no.
myself, that's just.
A weeknight actually might.
Somebody wants to come and pick me up,
I'll show up at your actual
I'm
house this time.
always there. My actual house.
He just chuckled at me, he said, okay. Any days work better or not work for you?
No, it's just by the week. So whatever, you guys throw stuff out and yeah.
Okay. Let's try and do something next week. I don't think I have anything.
Earlier in the week's good, Monday,
Earlier in the
Tuesday,
week? Okay.
I can do it any Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I can do that. What's next week?
The week of the 11th?
11th.
So the 11th or 12th?
Yeah, I can't do the end of the week,
Okay.
but I can do
When's
the
Brian back?
today.
Okay.
Trip.
Yeah.
Alright, so he signed up. Monday, 11th?
Yeah.
What time? What time are
I
you usually
can
back
do
in
any
town? Or do you leave town? I don't know.
Back from work at 5.
At 5.
I wanna say 6.
6? At 146 Wachusett Street.
Okay.
Julian, are you still there?
Please.
His name's still there.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe he just like,
If not,
there's
I'll
no
just
way he's still there.
shoot him an email.
You might need to.
I'll do that.
Okay. Do you have, or do you wanna introduce yourself at all? Yeah, I should have started with that, my bad. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Mary. I met Brian at Big Night and I'm interested in becoming a wildlife biologist, so I shadowed him for one of the rabies things that he does and he started talking about you guys and now I'm here. But I homeschooled my kids for the past 14 years. This was their first year in public school. So I had a kid in each school this year and now I'm getting back into the workforce and realizing I don't like the office setting. I wanna be outside. I live over at the horse farm, Holiday Acres. That's my mother-in-law's property, so I live there. We've done a lot outside and now I'm inside and I hate it. But yeah, I did a little bit of I was a field teacher for Mass Audubon for a season, so I tried that and I liked it, but I don't love the teaching part of it. So I just love nature, so that's why I'm here. The end.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd say you don't have to be a professional to be on Concom, as long as you have kind of a willingness to learn. There's a organization for conservation commissioners that when you become a new one, you get like a free access to the handbook for a month, and like this new commissioner orientation that is like I think it's a pre-recorded thing now, that you can just listen to and get the basics. There's a bunch of, they offer pretty much everything as webinars now for the trainings. If you ever want to do them, they're not required for you to do them. We have a yearly conference in the spring that's a little bit bigger. That's usually at Holy Cross in Worcester. And then there's one in the fall that's usually out, oh my God, in Western Mass. I think it's been in Holyoke the last couple years, that offer like the in-person trainings, and you know, you can socialize and everything like that. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, so like when you were talking about like going over permits and stuff like that, when do you guys do that? Cause I assume you guys all don't all like get paid to do this, right?
Yeah.
Like you're volunteer. I don't know if all of you are or some of you or.
All of us. So all of us are volunteers, live in town.
So when do you do that part? Like it's not at the meetings, right? When do you, as a collective, do that sort of thing?
So collectively, when we do it together, is at the
Melissa does
meetings.
Okay.
What?
She does it all.
No, I don't. So Jared does. Jared does it. No. So what we do is in between meetings, we get applications. There are some like legal time frames we have to meet for like posting it in the paper that Tamika lovingly takes care of. So in between meetings and the week before our meeting, like the Thursday before, she sends us an email. We have like a SharePoint with all of our applications and permits, etc. So she sends one for like the upcoming meeting so that we can look at it, you know, review beforehand. It's usually a little bit easier to look at it beforehand instead of seeing it like fresh when you come in, but it's not necessarily required. It just kind of helps you get a grasp of what's doing. So in between meetings, we look at it by ourselves because we can't discuss with each other outside of a meeting because of open meeting law. So that's a fun aspect you'll come to learn about local government. But then like the meat and guts and how we want to condition something, we talk about here. So when we were talking about the amendment for Brice Estates, that was our only application really for tonight. So that's why it was like, we kind of discussed it last meeting. But usually like we'll have a plan up on the screen. The engineers here, they give an overview of what they're proposing. We'll ask questions. If there's anyone from the public, we'll ask them. We have to wait for the state DEP to issue a file number depending on the application type. They might issue comments. It's a bureaucracy game, I don't know. And then ultimately we agree on any conditions for approval, you know, or denial, but and then Tamika writes up the permit and sends it out. And then we get called back in again when they're ready to start. So they put in erosion controls, we do an inspection, and then away they go.
So about like ballpark, how many requests, stuff like that, do you get in between meetings to have to go through? Like you had one tonight.
It could be anywhere from 0 to, I mean, sometimes when like a subdivision comes through and there's a bunch of houses on one side that they're doing kind of in one slew, we might get like 5 of them.
Okay.
But it's a lot of the same, like it's the same almost plan pretty much for each house. And a lot of them we've already kind of reviewed the subdivision as a whole. Now they're coming back for the individual lots.
Okay.
So like erosion controls are usually already in, you know, the grading might have even already been done. So it's just thinking about like the long-term use of the lot for the house part of it. But I wouldn't say more than
No.
5.
The majority of the ones we get are usually related to subdivisions. You know, every once in a while we'll get like a lot, you know, just like a single family house lot, that type of thing. But I will say since I'm a town employee, I'm not subject to the open meeting law, in the same way that you would be as a member. So if you ever have questions or wanna discuss things in between meetings, you can always communicate directly with me and there would be no violation. And we can even make time to go through the SharePoint and just kind of show you the different things that are on there. And you can kind of use that to, at your own leisure, to go through and just see what things look like, you know, see what a permit looks like or what a certificate of compliance looks like. Cause
Yeah.
you kind of sometimes just learn as you go,
Okay.
you know?
Geez, you didn't offer that to me when I started.
I didn't get a
You do this for a
I didn't get a
living.
handbook.
That's all shiny.
You had to live with it, okay?
I'm just gonna give Tamika a hard time once
Yeah.
tonight.
Well, you're also a conservation agent, so I did not think I was going to be any help to you.
Believe me, that SharePoint was a learning curve.
It is for a lot of
Did
people.
you change the settings on that? Cause I went to log in today
No.
and all of a sudden it was this different screen and for some reason my Holden email got me in, but my
No, don't talk
my
about it. It's gonna give
Gmail
me
used to
heartburn.
get me in.
The SharePoint gives me
Somebody
heartburn
changed
now. I
something,
didn't
cause
change
I was
it.
like, okay, I'll try my other email. I don't know. It used to be my Gmail.
So you can't get in with your Gmail anymore?
Maybe SharePoint program, maybe it just does like
I don't know,
Like,
I don't know.
security,
I'll check
like,
it. Cause I don't want you to not be able to get in with your Gmail. So I'll check it and see if anything happened.
I don't know. Am I the only one? It's just me? Great.
No, it's on occasion, it does
I was like,
do
what's
weird
this?
things.
Something
So
new.
it's like logging in for building permits half the time, it tries to log me in from Southborough, and I'm like, no.
Oh,
Mhm.
I guess it could be a security type
Is
of.
it trying to have you like authenticate? Like
It
factor,
sent a-
two-factor?
It sent me a pin to my email and I had to go into my town of Holden email and get
Oh.
the code, paste it in, and then it let me right in.
Oh, that's bizarre, I don't
That's
know
pretty
then.
weird.
It was just probably a security thing, Tamika.
We've been hacked.
I hope we have.
Yeah, feel free, at any point if you have questions, reach out to Tamika. I mean, you can also talk to George directly if you're friendly with him, just like,
Hi.
or I met Brian.
I was gonna say, I've never met Jordan
friend
too.
too.
Talk to me
but-
too. I mean, I'm not a jerk.
You just went with it.
George is everybody's friend.
It's been a long week and it's only Tuesday. Okay, you could talk to George if you wanted to. If you go to his neighbor's house and ask for him, they do let you just sit there though. Yeah, you could talk to Brian, so it's the thing is with open meeting law, like, you can't like go to Brian and be like, what's your opinion? And then go to Glenda and be like, well, Brian said this, what do you think? I think blah, cause then it turns into like a quorum of people and it's,
Everything has to be out in the public's
yeah.
arena.
Yeah, that's fun. But once you get over that, it's fine. Do you have any other questions?
Not that I can think of right
Okay,
now.
well, you don't need to.
Okay.
Are you still interested after
Yes.
sitting through the chaos tonight? Okay. Would we like to recommend for appointment to the select board then?
Sure.
Okay. As long as you're ready for this. Is there a motion to recommend Mary for appointment?
I make a motion to recommend Mary Hunt for appointment to the Conservation Commission Board for the next select board meeting. Will that work?
So I second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Farrington, aye.
Williamson, aye.
Keenan and I.
Danza, aye. Alright. You are recommended.
Thank you.
May I ask a question about the process
Sure.
around it? If, which I think you're lovely, for the record, I recommend you should, even though I am nobody. If let's say three people recommended and one didn't, or vice versa. Let's say you guys said, no, we don't recommend her. Would that still go to the select board?
If it was 3-1, yes. So when we're making it, so our quorum right now is 4. But when we're then voting in here, it's a quorum of those present.
Okay.
At least for Concom, we have like a very specific like exemption in the Wetlands Protection Act that talks about what our quorum is, and it's only a quorum of those seated. Some committees, it's like, it's all seats, no matter if they're filled or not.
Okay. Just to add to that, if it's okay, Melissa, so
Yes.
the select board appointment policy requires that a majority of that board or committee recommend the appointment of that person. So if the majority tonight hadn't recommended, it would not have gone before the select board, it would have stopped right here.
Very good, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
To make it, yeah. She knows the local stuff.
What she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. Okay. My God, I said tonight would be short and
I know,
I
can
think
we-
I lied,
can
I'm
we-
sorry,
No,
yep. Disturbance of stone wall and Brintnal, comments sought by planning board. So when I was out on Arrowhead, I took a drive-by, trying to figure out where the stone wall was. And it seemed like it was just the individual house lot that they're building, not in relation to any work that they're like connecting to Hilltop.
Correct. They're A&R lots.
Okay. So, cause I saw a DEP sign in the back of the lot, which was also weird that it's not in the front, but it's fine. So we have issued a permit on the lot, but they took the stone wall down on a scenic road without the special permit from planning board. So because of that, they have to notify, I think, Concom and Historical.
Correct.
And if we have any recommendations on remediation or whatever word I'm looking for as retribution.
Yeah, one of those RE words.
Restoration?
Yeah, remediation, restoration,
Restore the,
yeah,
Restoration.
you know what,
did we know what the purpose of the,
House lot.
was it to,
put in a
Construction of
house.
They had to move it because
to put in
Put in a
a
house.
house?
with the house in, they had to move the wall?
They just.
Yeah,
they
driveway.
destroyed the wall.
Street
You had to
entry.
make the lot.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that, but
So they just took out where the driveway was?
they just took out where the driveway was, or they took out the whole thing?
I think it's the
It's the
whole
whole
length of
thing.
the front lot. That's what it looked like at least.
So they had a street entry permit
No,
where they didn't even have a street entry permit from.
no, cause they
DPW.
get like a driveway permit like when they're done with the house. I found as
Oh, okay.
I'm reviewing building permits.
Okay,
So our comment is basically that they're requesting our comment basically just regarding if we have any jurisdictional, if we're in the buffer.
Or if we recommend anything as action for restoration. But I think they'll wanna have it like revolving around the stone wall, which if we've issued a decision, I guess we kind of approved, I mean, not that it matters that we approved it and planning doesn't, cause it's a scenic stone wall, they still need a permit.
I guess I'm just not sure what did you see? Did you think there was anything?
I mean, there's nothing, that's the thing.
I mean, if we issued, you said we issued an order for the construction?
Yeah, I mean, at least I saw DEP, I couldn't figure out which number it
Yeah.
was, but there was a sign in the lot that I saw was cut.
So if it's
So I guess in terms of like, was it a Concom violation? No. You know what I mean?
But if it's in the 100-foot buffer,
But they have a permit from
and they have
us.
a permit,
So on our end, it's not a violation, but we can still make recommendations if we see fit.
I think we can since it's in our jurisdiction. We
Right.
can make comments.
Yeah.
But it would just be for that section of the wall to get into the site at the driveway, right? They can't take the whole down wall down,
They took the whole stone wall down.
so they need,
They would need to rebuild the whole damn stone wall.
We'll allow them to leave out where the driveway is.
Yeah.
but it's not, it won't be the original stone wall, it'll just be
The
put
replicated
back
one.
together.
Yeah,
Hopefully they kept the rocks somewhere.
What number?
Hold on.
Sorry.
No, it's, cause I drove up and down about 6 times to make sure I was seeing the right one. It was I think they started cutting at like 61 Brintnal. Let me bring it up. Or that's at least the existing house lot that's next to it. So, hold on. Share. So this is 61, like this area. Oh, sorry. There we go. So if we zone out, this is Grizzly. So they cut open like, I'm assuming, I think it was this one, cause these are the estate lots that go up to Hilltop.
Okay.
It's funny, you can't really even see the stone wall, huh?
It's probably buried hidden under all the trees.
Yeah.
I live on that road, and I actually took pictures and videos of that. Would it be beneficial if I sent that to you folks to get it up on the screen?
If you would like to, sure.
Yes, what is the email address I could send that to?
Send it to mdanza@rutlandma.gov.
It's MDANZA at rutlandma.gov?
Yes.
All right. Is any of that near wetlands in you guys' jurisdiction?
Yeah, so we did issue a permit for that lot. I did see a sign up there. I was just trying to figure out what lot it possibly could have been. Cause when we approved them, they're all like
Melissa,
lot
is it one of
numbers.
the ones that we just did recently? Remember we did like lots 8 and 9 on Brintnal? And I thought they were the ones that were at the base of Hilltop. The A&R lots. I wanna say
Let me see.
yeah, I think it's in the SharePoint as Brintnal lot 9R and
And 10?
10. Is it those?
No,
No.
at least 10 isn't. I thought 9R might be, 9R is. Maybe. Maybe not. I have too many tabs, I can't. The lot looks slightly different, but. Let me share this, a little of it.
So if it's adjacent to 61, you said, it should be
You think
fairly
this is it?
easy to see.
The lot looks different. But that's the same. I think this might be it. So the stone wall isn't even on the plans.
Oh yeah, cause there's no top to that plan. So it's hard to tell
Yeah.
the shape of the lot.
Are these the ones that I just sent you?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
I sent it again because I was getting an
Thank
error.
you.
You're welcome.
Alright,
Is that the lot that you were talking about?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, cause there definitely is a
Yeah,
stone
there-
wall.
There's the DEP sign.
Way back in the
Way in
woods.
the back.
66.
And that's just going more down the road, I just wanted to document that the
So
stone
it's
wall
across from
continues to go
66.
down, so it was going, like, there was a wall like this and they just completely just went in and demolished, like, this entire part of the wall.
So it's across from 66, that mailbox is from across the street. Yeah, so
Who issues the special permit for historic?
planning
Planning
board.
board.
So that's who's
Shocking.
requesting our comments.
Oh,
Because they never got an
They're looking for a
application.
comment.
you're looking for a comment, rebuild the wall.
Alright,
I mean, not to be blunt, but that's the comment.
Except for the driveway entrance.
except for the
driveway entrance, rebuild the wall, as was.
Maybe add some native shrubs.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
How about some wildflowers?
well, I mean, not for nothing, we should probably put in there that, you know, he built it right with, if he's gonna just dry set it, that it gets dry set correctly, and if not, he uses mortar and stuff down so it doesn't go away again. Like, build it right. Why? It's always a problem with this guy.
Get it right?
Could you say in kind?
Yeah,
Replace the wall in kind?
restore to its previously existing condition.
There you go. That means you can't.
And we
use-
Add photos on
recommend
the shrub?
some native shrubs or plants.
Any specific number? Minimum?
Minimum of 6.
Teen? No, I'm kidding.
Tamika,
Sorry, I'm tired.
I don't, is that?
Okay.
Sound, I just threw numbers out there,
Yeah, that
guys.
works.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay. Any other comments on that one? Little feet,
Kids
little
night.
feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Alright. Okay, community outreach. Community grief garden. You're up.
I don't know if you guys have been behind the building, cause that's where it is, but behind the building, cause I'm brain injured, remember? Missing squishy stuff. So it's literally right over behind the dumpsters, and the site is huge. I thought it was gonna be, you know, this postage stamp piece of land. It's gigantic.
Jeez.
And they have all sorts of plans for putting up abrevieties to block the DPW. They wanna do a whole section of just, they call it a chaos garden. They just wanna take wildflower seeds and throw it and let it be. They got a slew of donations. One of the women that is on the board, her parents own a nursery in Spencer that was closing on the 31st of July.
No.
Well, no, just for the year.
Oh, jeez.
So everything that was left over, they donated, so like a couple of truckloads of plants
Oh, wow.
yeah, those were all donations, but anyway, the way the site lays out, there's actually room for them to make several different types of gardens. Like there's a swale down there where they could do a rain garden, and there's all sorts of cool stuff. And it would be a great place or a great way for us to help them by doing something like you guys do in Southborough with having a big day where everybody brings their seeds, native seeds, and we show them how to make little greenhouses out of milk jugs. They bring,
Oh, the winter sow?
yeah, the winter sow stuff. Because that way they're getting the plants for free, and then they can just keep building off of splits. So, you know, it's sort of our way of helping them, and we can use it to help with the program that we wanna do at the library and things like that. So it's awesome. It's way bigger and cooler than you guys could think it was.
What about, did they talk about having like a community vegetable garden?
That's a sore spot with me. I don't know.
I know why.
I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know if they're doing that.
People like me who rent,
Yeah,
we like community gardens because
I know.
we can't have them in our yards, so
I know.
same thing, our community garden
I
holds.
tried to start one at the community center, but I was told it was a senior center, so. But anyway, that's a topic for.
We're not going down that road tonight.
I just feel a small area for like a vegetable, like tomatoes or whatever, I don't think would be a super big deal.
I don't think,
Squash, I don't know, cukes, whatever.
I don't know that they would necessarily be opposed to it either. I think you just gotta, I think you would have to talk to them to see,
It'd be hard to manage who gets what
right,
as a community
Yeah,
garden.
that's true too.
I think it would have to be like a specific area that is a community garden that has like I have a coordinator where I work that, you know,
So
assigns
like not
plots and-
one single person in town like getting all the tomatoes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how they
this
do
is my hoard, yeah.
I don't know how they do that. Maybe we should just forget the vegetables.
But they've got like 10 of those big 10-foot by 4-foot galvanized tubs out there.
Jeez.
Sinkowitz donated a whole bunch of, hopefully it's clean fill and doesn't have the knotweed in it. We checked before they started digging
Laying it
into
out.
the pile and there didn't seem to be any.
Okay.
So,
We'll find out.
yeah, well, they were pulling it up while I was there. So
Don't get me started.
it's there, but they're doing their best to,
Yikes. Okay.
but yeah, it's gonna be a great way for the commission to kinda partner with the community and teach the community the importance about native plants, like Mr. Blair. He had no idea that, or it looked like he had no idea that native plants could help with the absorption on his basins or whatever, you know, stuff
The
like that.
roots.
Yep.
George, can I ask a question? Is that, what you're describing, is that something that would be done now or next year in the spring?
The winter sow?
Yeah,
So that would be something that we'd start collecting seeds in the fall,
okay,
and then you sow them in like January,
Mhm.
and then you'd plant them in the spring.
okay,
They'd be ready for planting in the spring.
alright.
Is there any action we should take right now? Or have you kind of made that initial introduction
I
and
made
saying
that
we're
initial
interested?
introduction, and they're really interested in working with
Okay.
us. So I think as I work on, I gotta go talk to the librarian. As I work on getting a program with her, with the
Okay.
kids, then I can talk to you and we can work through that whole.
Okay,
'cause
so it's
maybe-
just still fostering the relationship, okay,
Cause maybe we
Awesome.
can get seeds from Southborough
maybe,
this year.
I might know someone,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Do you want us to keep this on the agenda
as an open thing.
as an open thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it. Alright, Wachusett Road, review work done on Roadway. Did anyone take a swing by on that one?
Is this the one that turned into Milo?
Yes.
No. Again, I was on vacation.
I took a drive down there and it looks like it definitely could be within areas jurisdictional to us. So do we officially know who did the work? Or no? Is that still on, we do, no? Okay. Can we invite them to our next meeting? And then everyone take a look by. Cause I think part of it,
It's at the Princeton town line.
it's up towards the Princeton side, so the BVW comes down pretty far.
And it used to be Milo, now it's Wachusett, no.
No, now it's Milo.
Now it's Milo.
I'll change that on the next agenda.
MIL.
Yeah, MIL.
Cause there have also been building permits coming in for Milo too. So I know work is happening elsewhere as well. Okay. Town administrator search, provide feedback to the select board. I'm just gonna say, if you individually have something that you think the select board should look for in our next town administrator, please send them an email. Fair enough? I don't think anything needs to come specifically from the commission, besides someone who could maybe find us money to have staff. Besides Tamika, I mean, in conjunction with Tamika. Pay staff more like Tamika. Yeah. And wetland regs, I'm gonna push this to next time since we're down some members. And yeah, that's all. Is there anything else that has come up that I've forgotten or unexpected? I did my Post-it note.
You did a great job.
Thank you. Mary, do you have any other questions?
We're meeting 6 o'clock at 146 Wachusett Street on the 11th.
Yes.
Okay, that was my one. Is there a Wachusett Road? What do you-
Yes.
There was,
There
Okay.
was,
now it's Milo.
but if you put it into Google, it'd probably still bring you there, maybe?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it would, I mean, it wouldn't
Okay,
change that.
They had-
so
yeah.
street. I'm going to
Street.
street, okay.
Yes, street.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like end up in Princeton, you know you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely
Street
it's gonna
is
pull it
like,
up on
you
your.
go Glenwood and then, right? That's
Yeah,
Wachusett Street.
and that property that you're going to is right before the intersection where you would
Okay.
cross to keep going, and
Yeah.
it's on your right hand side and it's a new house. It's a
Okay,
new
I think I know what
construction
you're talking
build.
about actually,
Yeah.
okay.
So
It's
could you just explain that?
Yeah, so when you go, so when you're at,
Really bad with
when you're at like the community center and you take the right onto Wachusett Street, you keep going all the way to the intersection, and the house is on the right before the intersection.
before 68?
Before 68,
Oh.
it's a new construction house on the
Yeah.
right hand side.
Jeez,
I'm 99% sure, you can double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the
I
one.
didn't realize that.
And I did already upload, am I wrong? I could be wrong.
No,
I totally could be. It's Brian Willette's house that he built. Well, not his house, but he
Yeah,
built it. And I did already upload the COC with the as-built to the SharePoint, if anybody
for
wants to
some
look at it.
reason, I always thought in my brain that was the one that DEP superseded, but
No, we actually just recently extended the order of conditions, cause it was expiring in June and he had to finish up some work on the project, so we just recently extended it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
I had one,
yes.
I wanted to do another site visit that I never did, but I wanna say it was on, I don't know if it still needs to be done, Jim Hardy Emerald Road, ECB inspection from the last meeting.
Oh, yes, I believe he did email and
Yeah.
say that the ECBs were in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear from any members specifically that
Yeah.
they had gone out.
I had taken a ride through and taken a quick
Okay,
jaunt through the woods, so that's fine.
That's
And,
okay.
yeah, I'll
Come on.
double check, yeah,
So
cause that's,
I can go next week if,
okay,
you want me
no,
to.
I think it's good.
okay.
I'll double check my notes, but I know I did something on Emerald, because as I was driving here to pick up.
yeah,
George,
I think
was
I
like-
had just forwarded you the email
Yeah.
from
Yes.
Jim, so I think,
Yep.
He
yeah,
notified us, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
okay.
And at the last meeting, we were like, oh, we really haven't gone, so then I went.
Okay.
I did something useful.
And thank you, Tim, for doing Pleasantdale,
That was no big deal.
and checking that one off the list.
He keeps us honest.
I don't know if you should, maybe, do you get back to him now and say, hey, we did do an inspection, everything looks good? Cause my only thought is, can we, or maybe a reminder about the big rocks?
Mhm.
Leaving them along the border there, that's what one thing we had talked about at the site visit.
Mhm.
I think,
Yeah,
Sure.
it looked like he had kicked a few aside.
Mhm.
Maybe just saying, hey, everything looks good. Just a reminder on the rocks, does
can
that
do
make
that.
sense? Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second,
All those in favor by roll call?
Barrington, aye.
Williams and I.
Keenan, aye.
Dan's a aye. We adjourn 7:50.